Hey guys, how you all doing today? It's Jordan here from Switchwatch, back again with another review, this time of Paper Wars. Thanks to iFun4All for providing this review code, so I can tell you guys if it's worth your hard-earned cash or not. Now the question of the day is very simple. Which is your favorite paper-based game? Now there's a very famous series that you may go for, but I'm interested to know which specific game that you like the best. Let's get on with the review. While iFun4All may have one of the most worrying names as a publisher, especially if you're strictly against mobile ports, they've had varying success so far on the Nintendo Switch, with the highlight being the enjoyable Serial Cleaner. Their fourth effort on the Switch is Paper Wars Cannon Fodder Devastated, a paper-themed tower defense game. The story of Paper Wars is, well, non-existent. No, literally there is no story. Moving on. The audio for the title is surprisingly decent, but then again, iFun4All seem to have a knack of having high quality audio, even if the surrounding game may come across as a little bit cheap. They always excel themselves in this department. There's not a lot of tracks, but of those that are here are nice, catchy, and always far more punchier than you would expect. Something that does take away from what could have been a solid audio job is that the sound effects, as generally comes with the tower defense territory, are repetitive and overbearing. To add insult to injury, there are no real audio settings in the options. You can only turn all of the sound on or off, rather than the music and effects being separate. That's always a shame. Visually, the game has a cut-out paper theme to it, which I can always appreciate. There's something rather tangible to how everything looks in this style, with like Paper Mario being the primary example, of course. In Paper Wars, it looks fine with the doodle soldiers looking like they've been crudely ripped out of a book or something. I think the only problem I have with it is that it doesn't really have any need to be paper-based, since it's not integrated into the gameplay or anything like that. Obviously, being such a small, simple title, it doesn't really matter as much compared to if it was a larger, big-budget game. Paper Wars is a very simple take on the tower defense genre. It's literally at its most basic. A small variety of soldiers walk from the right of the screen to the left of the screen, and your job is to stop them. To do that, you simply fire missiles at them by moving the aiming reticule over to where you want your bomb to land. Then hold down the A button to charge up the amount of power you want. Release it, and then bombs away. The enemies don't fight back or anything. They literally live up to the subtitle of cannon fodder. Sometimes they'll stick in groups, other times they'll charge solo, but at the end of the day, that's all they do. They just charge. The goal of each stage changes, but usually involves either killing a set amount of enemies, a set amount of a specific enemy, or just surviving a certain length of time. After the first score of stages, when the difficulty starts to ramp up, you'll notice that enemy soldiers will begin to get through. But it's not the end of the world, since you're always granted a small allowance of how many can go through before it's a game over. As you blow enemies up with bombs after bombs after bomb, you'll quickly begin to realize the complete mindlessness that this game has to offer. It's repetitive bomb after bomb, blowing up the same kind of enemies. Saying that this game has any kind of depth would be a hilarious lie. It's simple to a fault in my mind. Although maybe there is an audience for this kind of simplicity. Sometimes after a hard day at work, you don't always want to play a game where you have to fully concentrate, so it might be a decent choice for some people, I guess. It's not only missiles you have to shoot though. As you blast the paper soldiers to smithereens, you'll have a smorgasbord of different power-ups to assist you in your defense. Icons for different kinds of attack will pop up on the battlefield, whether it be a mine to help blow stuff up, something to slow down time, or even call in an airstrike. There are a lot of different assists in Paper Wars, and you'll definitely want to pick up all of them if possible. However, I must state that it's the power-ups that bring my biggest gripe with this game. If you shoot a missile and destroy a power-up, some of them will actually stall your next charge-up attack, leaving you attackless for a couple of seconds. It doesn't sound like much, but it can be so debilitating when an enemy comes at full speed. It's not all of the power-ups that do this, but most of them do, and I find it curiously odd. It's not as though there's much you can do about it most of the time, since power-ups will appear after you've already fired your shot off, making destruction inevitable. This happens all of the time too, and it's a major annoyance in my opinion. There is a bit of variety between the 3 level packs put into this game. The first is just a standard affair, but the winter themed levels gives you a limit on your ammunition, which is admittedly rather tense. Then the zombie pack does add a slither of depth in the fact that different zombies are only vulnerable to specific bombs. For example, the red zombies will only be able to be killed by the red bombs. Finally, there is a survival mode to take part in for each of the level packs, which you have to kill as many zombies as possible until 100 breach the left of the screen. It didn't hold my attention, to be honest, as it was even more mindless and boring than the standard game. It should be noted that while you can use the standard controller, you're more than welcome to use your fingers if you want to, and in some ways it's better, although kind of tiring played over a long session. At £8.99 you've got about 90 levels, each with 3 difficulties plus a survival mode. Now I wouldn't say that price is outrageous or anything, since lesser games have asked for more, but I do think it's slightly ambitious for the publisher. Not because it's a bad game, but because of what kind of game it is. At the minute I don't think it's worth the original asking price, but if there's ever a sale for more than half price, I would say it's pretty reasonable. Overall, there's nothing outrageously wrong with Paper Wars. It has one hell of a simple concept and it sticks with it for dear life. I think it may be a half decent time waster if you've got 5 minutes here or there, but you're not going to be wanting to spend extended time with its repetitive, mindless gameplay. It's an average mobile style game that's heavily overpriced, and not one to recommend to anybody who seeks just even a smidge of depth to their gameplay. I would award Paper Wars an average 5 out of 10. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed this review. Don't forget to leave a comment below telling me your favorite paper themed game. My personal favorite is the original Paper Mario. What about you? If you're a regular Switch watcher, then hit that like button. If you're new here, then of course we would love you to subscribe, as we're committed to being the best Switch channel on YouTube. You won't regret it. And of course, head over to the website switchwatch.co.uk for news, reviews and features. Honestly guys, it's well worth a daily look. I've been Jordan from Switchwatch, and I'll see you guys next time.